Hey guys, for the last month I've been using these OpenRock S earphones with my iPhone. These earphones were sent out to me by OpenRock to review. They are open ear air conduction earphones, which means that these earphones sit on top of your ear rather than inside them. This design makes them super comfortable to wear for long periods of time. The earphones are great for day-to-day use, but they're also a fantastic choice for sports, as they have an IPX5 waterproof rating. So whilst they're not suitable for swimming, they're perfect for the gym or for running, as they can handle sweat, dust, moisture and rain. And if the earphones do get dirty, you can simply wash them with water to clean them. I've been incredibly impressed with the audio quality. I found them to be excellent. They're powered by a 16.2mm driver with enhanced bass, and there are 4 noise cancelling microphones for your calls. Battery life is also excellent, with up to 60 hours of playback. The OpenRock S earphones can be purchased from Amazon or from the official OpenRock website. They normally retail at between 70 and 80 bucks around the world, and they're available in black or in white. The company has done a fantastic job with packaging. The earphones come in a nice little box, and when you open it up for the first time, you'll see the user manual. The user manual covers several different languages, and for each language, there are 6 pages that explain exactly how you use the OpenRock S. There's also a card that shows you how to wear the earphones and how to charge them. In the main part of the box, you'll find a short Type A to Type C charging cable, and then you'll see the OpenRock charging case. On the outside of this charging case, you'll see a Type C charging port, and you'll see 4 white LED indicators that show you the battery level. When you open up the case itself, you'll see the OpenRock S earphones. The earphones will initially have some protective film over the charging area. So what you have to do is take the earphones out of the charging case, remove that paper, then put the earphones back in the case. Then after a few seconds, take the earphones back out and the earphones will enter pairing mode, and that will allow you to connect the OpenRock S earphones to the device of your choice. What I'd like to do now is a quick audio test to give you an idea as to what the microphone quality is like in the OpenRock S. So you can see that I've got the OpenRock S earphones on. I'm recording using my iPhone's front camera, and I'm using the OpenRock S earphones as the audio source. In other words, what you're listening to right now is being recorded using the microphones in the OpenRock S earphones. So I've been doing a lot of walking recently, and I've been using these earphones. So I've been making a lot of calls to friends and family. So I have been using these earphones on the move and making a lot of calls with them. And I found the microphone quality to be really good. So I've been very impressed with them. The noise cancellation does seem to work even when there's some wind noise. But right now I'm in my office. As you can see, it's not a noisy environment per se. But there is some buzzing from the lights, and there is some fan noise from my PC. So there is some noise in this room. So what you're listening to right now is me speaking via the OpenRock S earphones. There's a little bit of fan noise in the room, and this will give you an idea as to what these earphones are capable of. What I'd like to do now is delve a little deeper and talk about some topics which I think are relevant to anyone who's thinking about buying OpenRock S earphones. The first 2 things I want to talk about are audio quality and comfort, and both of these are excellent in my opinion. I've been very, very happy with the audio quality. It's crisp, it's clear, it's rich, it's bassy. I think it's just a great positive experience overall. So I've found these to be great for all types of music. They're great for podcasts. They're good for taking calls in my opinion as well. And it's just a great audio experience. Now, the one thing you have to note about this is that these are open ear air conduction. And what that means is that these have a little speaker here. They do not go into your ear. So if you look at my other earphones, the Sony ones, these go right into your ear canal. And after a few hours, they can get a little bit uncomfortable. That's not the case there. These are so comfortable. You can see they kind of bend around here, and you just slot them on your ear like that. So what happens here is that you put them on your ear, and from a distance, they just look like normal earphones, but they're kind of sitting on top. Now, what that means is that they're more comfortable. You can wear them for long periods of time, and you almost forget that they're on. But from an audio perspective, what it means is that these are air conduction, which means that you will hear noise from the environment. Now, from my own perspective, if I'm at the gym, if I'm out running, I like to be able to hear what's going on around me. And it's the reason why I use Shocks for running, these kind of bone conduction earphones. The reason being that I can still hear noises from cars. I can, still hear people around me. I can still hear what I want to listen to, but I can still hear environmental noises. Now, some people won't like that. They just won't like it. But generally speaking, it's not going to be an issue at home. And if you're outside and you do think there's too much noise around you from cars, traffic, whatever the noise is, you just have to crank up the volume a little bit so that the audio is louder and you hear it better. But it is something to be aware of. I think for sports, I think for the gym, that's ideal because you want to have hear a little bit of what's going on in the background. So from an audio perspective, it's great. From a comfort perspective, it's great. I'm just a big fan of this design. The other thing to note here, the charging case. So you can see that the 4 LEDs were coming on there. And these LEDs will tell you if it's 0, 25, 50, 75, and 100% battery. We've got Type-C charging on the back there as well. Now, I would recommend when you buy these earphones, like I say, it's a nice unboxing experience. Check the card on how to wear and how to charge, and check the manual as well. Because the manual will tell you how to charge up this case, and it will tell you how to power it on. It tells you the controls, pairing, and it's got some specifications there as well. Now, before I talk about controls, I just want to talk about this charging case. This charging case has 41 hours of battery life in it, and the earphones have 19. So on their own, if I drop them there, these earphones have 19 hours of battery life. That is a lot. The other earphones I've got, I think those are 5 out of the case. So you've got a huge amount of battery life just in the earphones themselves. And then you've got another 41 hours of battery if you put them back in the case. So that is really, really good. Now, it takes an hour and a half to charge the earphones to full. So if these are completely dead and you put them in the case, they'll be charged in an hour and a half. But if I show you in the manual here, you'll see that there's a part. If I get to it, if you put them in for just 5 minutes, you will get 1 hour of playback. So consider the scenario, you go to the gym and these earphones are dead, you've left them out of the case and they're fully dead. Stick them in the case, stick them in your bag, 5-10 minutes later, you have enough charge in those earphones to last you the whole gym session. So from a battery life perspective, these are excellent. They really are excellent and very practical. And just a note on pairing, there is a button there to reset if you need to pair. There's a button there. Now, the elephant in the room, look at the size of that charging case. It's huge. There's no way getting around it. The benefit of having a case like this is a huge amount of battery life. The downside is the size. Now, that's not going to be a deal breaker for everyone, but for some people it may be. But that's something you need to be aware of. The battery case is both a pro and a con. Now, from my own perspective, I've been putting this in my bag or I've been putting it in my inside jacket pocket. So the size of this case has not really been a deal breaker. It's not really been an issue that the case is larger. In the summer, if I don't have a big jacket on, I don't have a bag, I'd maybe gravitate towards earphones that, have a smaller case. But the fact is, it's maybe not a factor anyway, because you've got 19 hours of battery life out of the case. So it kind of isn't a factor anyway. If you don't need to charge these on the move and you're just out for the day, 19 hours is going to see you through the day. So the charging case is big. If you want to take the charging case with you, you do have to carry this big case. It's nearly the size of my phone. It is a big case, but it gives you a huge amount of battery life, and the battery life in the earphones themselves are so good that it's kind of not a factor. What is a factor though? The controls. And this is an area where I'm not a big fan of the controls. So if we go back to the manual here, you'll see that it talks about here where you've got a touch control area. And it shows you here that it's double tap for playing and pausing, and then you can skip tracks 3 times if you want to do voice assistant. You can hold it on both sides to change from rock mode to relax mode. Not something I've used. But the idea, generally speaking, is you put the earphones on, which I will do just now, and you've got some music playing. So I've got some music playing, and if I just do that, it stopped. And I appear to put on the voice assistant as well. So it's doing a voice assistant now. There you go, it's playing now. Pushed it too much. So, and that kind of summarizes my experience with these controls, in that half the time these controls work great and it skips the track, or it does exactly what I want it to do. The other half of the time it doesn't do it. I do the voice assistant or nothing happens. It's just not as pleasant an experience as I would like as far as controlling, because skipping tracks is something that I do a lot. When you're going out for the day, you're walking for a few hours, you will skip tracks a lot if you're listening to a playlist. And there's a lot of times where it just, skipping track is not good here. So that's something I wish was a little bit better. They do work well. Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but it's something to be aware of. The controls are maybe a little bit more fidgety than they need to be. Another thing about controls, there's no volume controls. They expect you to change the volume, using your phone. Now, in a lot of situations, that's not an issue. If I'm walking about for the day and I've got these earphones, I set the volume on my phone and that's me. I'm done. But if you're running and you're using something like a watch or another device where it's not so easy to change the volume, then that becomes more of a pain. And certainly from a running perspective, I would still prefer my shocks, because when I'm running, there's situations where I'm running outside and it's quiet, and then you get to traffic. I live in a city. When you get to traffic, it's very loud, so I put the volume up or down accordingly. And these have volume controls here that are very easy to use. There's no volume controls here. So the lack of volume controls for me is a pain for me when I'm running. In other situations, it is not a problem at all. But I would have loved to have seen volume controls in these earphones, just to make these earphones more versatile and just a more flexible solution for me to use in all scenarios. I hope you've all enjoyed this look at the OpenRock S open-ear air conduction earphones that were kindly sent out to me by OpenRock, who are owned by One Audio. I've thoroughly enjoyed using these over the last month or so, and I can highly recommend them. They're very comfortable to wear. They don't go in your ear, so you can wear these for hours at a time. The audio quality is excellent. The microphone quality is good as well. The charging case is very easy to use, and the battery life here is insane. Up to 60 hours of battery, which I can't even really check because I just never charge this thing, so it's hard to kind of track that. So the battery life does seem to live up to expectations. Now, this big battery case is kind of the elephant in the room. A lot of people don't want a battery case that's that size, and I get it, there are smaller earphone charging cases out there, but what I would counter that with is that yes, you get 41 hours of battery extra with the case, but you get 19 hours with the earphones themselves. So if you think this case is too big and heavy to take out with you, just don't take it with you. You get 19 hours of battery with the earphones, so it's kind of a non-factor. It's not a big issue in my opinion. What might be a deal breaker for some people is the controls. Now, the double tap system is something you'll see in many wireless earphones. I'm not a fan of them because it's a bit fidgety, but it is what it is. It works sometimes, other times it doesn't seem to register. But the one thing that did annoy me was the lack of volume controls. It's something I do like to change when I'm out and about listening to music. And it's why I'll continue to use my shocks for running, because these have built-in volume controls, which is something I do value when I'm running and I'm going between loud and quiet environments. But these are very good. I can recommend them. They tick a lot of boxes for me. So if you're looking for good open ear earphones, I do recommend checking these out. Thanks for watching, guys. If you've got any questions, check out the official website, check out other reviews, and feel free to post a comment as well. Until next time, take care.